Massive Guild Wars 2 news. Oh my god. I've gone for 7 days and it's all popping off. Hello, Guild Wars 2 community. Hello. Before we head out for our annual holiday break, a bid farewell to 2022. Wait, when was this? This is from December. Is there a later one? This is from December. Is this the right one? That's the wrong one. I mean, that's the one that I clicked. Did I click on a link? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that one. There we go. Got it. Hello, Guild Wars 2. Before our holiday break wrapped up in 2022, by reflecting on what a fantastic year it was for Guild Wars, in the time between the studio update and the New Year's Day, Guild Wars 2 and the ArenaNet team earned several end-of-year awards. We closed the December studio update with a promise that we'd be back in early 23 to talk about our long-term plans. Today, we'll be talking about some big changes we're making on how to develop new content and features, including our approach to expansions. Can I read this, though? I don't want to, like... Is this going to spoil anything for me? Because I haven't done an expansion yet. Let alone how they're going to update those expansions going forward. Oh, we're good? We're good? Okay, it should do. Awesome. All right, defining the problem. Okay. Since 2021, we've put a renewed emphasis on developing Guild Wars 2 with a player-centric approach, where step one in our development process is to seek out and understand the problems and frustrations that MMO players face. Why we're there. This approach was first adopted at ArenaNet over 20 years ago and is the core of the continued success of the franchise. The conclusion of the Elder Dragon saga, a story told over the course of a decade, was an opportunity for our team to reflect on our past before moving forward. We evaluated what has and hasn't worked over the years and used those insights to redefine how we develop and release content for our players. Our goals for the next phase of Guild Wars 2 are simple. We want to deliver content updates in a more timely and consistent manner, and we want to more and better, okay? Having the development bandwidth needed to iterate on core systems is especially important to us. It's something we've been making headway on over the last year with our quality of life improvements initiative. There are so many systems in Guild Wars 2 that have good bones that they can be better with just a bit of love. Like the inventory system. If I was to pick one, if I was to throw a dart at a board, right? If I was to throw a dart out there, the inventory system could use a little looking at. All right, just a little love, as you said. A little love. The path forward. The first step towards accomplishing these goals is to rebalance how we allocate our resources. Historically, with few exceptions, Living World seasons have required the focus of nearly the entire team to deliver them at the size, quality, and cadence that our players expect. This made it difficult to simultaneously develop expansions while supporting the game with regular content updates. It also meant that many of the areas went unsupported. In the next phase of Guild Wars 2 development, we're taking a more balanced approach that will allow us to provide more support for popular game modes, make frequent quality of life improvements to core systems like professions, deliver new features, and expand the world of Tyrion. So, less Living World then? Okay, what it means for you. Our future expansions for GW will be at the backbone of this new approach. Rather than launching an expansion every 2 to 4 years with a season of Living World in between, we'll be releasing smaller expansions more frequently at a slightly reduced price and adding additional content for those expansions through quarterly updates, meaning that the next big release is only ever a few months away. The first release in the expansion cycle is the launch point for a new story arc, bringing with it 2 new open world maps, 2 strikes, new gameplay and combat features, new masteries, and new rewards. In the following quarterly updates, we'll add another open world map, additional story chapters, challenge modes for the strike missions, a new fractal and challenge mode, new rewards, and additions to the new systems introduced in that expansion. Once that expansion story is complete, the next expansion will be just around the corner. Okay, so they're doing the roadmap as well. This is smart. The next chapter of End of Dragons arrives on February 28th, with familiar allies like Detective Rama and his hat at your side. You'll travel to a new location in Cantha and come face to face with deadly foe that resides deep within the Jade Sea. The storyline will conclude a few months later with an update that introduces additional playable space to the map, adds meta events and boss encounters, and lays the groundwork for future to be announced adventures. Unlike the Living World release, all owners of Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons will gain access to this content, meaning there's no pressure to log in to unlock it at no gem cost for Okay. In the first half of the year, we'll release the Su-1 Legendary Weapons Skin Variant Collection, 2 Profession Balance updates, a new Fractal Dungeon and Challenge Mode, and multiple updates to World vs. World. Additionally, we'll finish rolling out the DX11 and Chromium Embedded Framework upgrades and run our usual festival and bonus events. We also have some quality of life updates in the works, including a long requested feature that will allow you to queue up for PvE maps when they're full. We might have a few surprises stuff for you as well. Okay. Here's a high-level look at our upcoming features. Okay, so we've got dates of when they're coming. That's bold, to actually put a day on when it's coming. That's a bold move. In the background, we'll be quietly working on what's to come in the second half of the year. Wrap-up. I'm so excited about the next phase of Guild Wars 2. Does this indicate that, like, Living World is going away, or they're just doing, like... Is it like... Because they're not very clear. It's like, hey, we're going to do less. We're going to reallocate resources. We usually do it this way. We're not doing that anymore. So does this mean, like, Living World is gone? Yeah, that's kind of how I read about it, although they don't specifically say it, so we could be reading between the lines on that one, which is an interesting move. It looks like they're moving more towards a player retention model. If I was to guess, having not done some of this stuff, and bear that in mind, it looks to me like they want a longer player retention model to keep people in. I wonder if Guild Wars 2 and its Living World stuff, and the way it released it, had big droughts of player activity. So they would have this Zerg when the new Living World or whatever came out, but ultimately, regardless of how big it is, people consume it, gobble it up really fast, and then kind of drift away for quite a long time, waiting for the next thing to come, rather than having an active daily player base. It's not close to FF14, does it? Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the model, right? I mean, WoW's doing it as well. There's no doubt FF14 has hit a really, really, really good cadence with its content, like exceptionally good. It's like PoE levels of cadence. WoW's had like massive droughts. Guild Wars 2, I'm not sure how long their droughts have been, but it's clearly something they want to move to. Is like, there's always something new coming very soon. There's always something new coming. What we don't need to do, and I think a lot of games need to face this, is make massive, massive content drops with huge gaps in between. Like in an MMO, that's just a bad idea. It's a bad idea to just have nothing and then enormous content drops, because you're not going to keep any player busy. Like an average player, you're not going to keep them busy for a year, right? Only your hardcore are going to last that time. There's a 5-year delay between Ender Dragons and previous expansions. Yeah. I really enjoyed playing Guild Wars 2. I'm just scared to get to work because I don't want to sell my soul. I don't think you need to with Guild Wars 2. If anything, Project MMO that we've been doing has kind of proven you can play multiple MMOs, even to a decently high level. Just fine. Just fine. You can drop in, drop out. A lot of the players actually are ahead of me in terms of where you allocate your time. That's been pretty good.